what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Let's dive in. I want to start with a little LSU football. Wilson Alexander has a piece in The Advocate this morning, Jake, that I really enjoy, and because of that, I want to engage in what could either be considered the most lazy or the most timeless of content creation, which are reactions, right? You see react videos all the time on YouTube. They've existed for far longer than that. I mean, hell, if you grew up listening to WWL radio in the morning back in the day, I feel like all it was reading the newspaper a lot of times and then adding like just a dash of opinion. So Wilson today wrote, 5 LSU football players with the potential to have breakout seasons. I want to see kind of where we agree, where we can expound upon, and maybe if you have some other names on the list. First up on the list, I believe, would be the most obvious. I don't even know that we need to stay on it too long. Very obviously, Mason Smith, right? Nobody has a higher talent ceiling to less on-field opportunity than Smith did. I mean, he was great his freshman year. He was first-team All-SEC freshman. I think he had like 4.5 sacks, maybe in 9 games, somewhere around there. And then we all know what happened last year against Florida State. Mason Smith is going to be if he stays healthy, a household name by the end of the year.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I mean, this is somebody that was an All-American candidate before the season last year. He's dominating for the few plays that he's in there. You see it, you get excited, he gets hurt. But, I mean, the fanfare he came into LSU with. So, yeah, this one is a pretty easy one. I mean, you have to include him on the list because he wasn't out there last year. But this one is one that's almost as guaranteed can be if he stays healthy.
Next on the list, he has Savion Jones, who was third on the team with 4.5 sacks last year. Of course, Jones, number 35. If you saw the giant number 35 out there, it's 6'6", 270. He has all the size. He flashed on film last year. I would agree with this. Second D lineman on this list thus far. I am interested to see what role. Well, actually, I want to explore D-line as a whole at the end of this because I think you're going to see kind of a theme develop. But, yeah, I think Savion Jones is someone, Jake, who was probably a bit underappreciated contribution-wise last year because you had the game-winning plays of like Harold Perkins and B.J. Ojolari to kind of suck up all the oxygen in the room. But Savion Jones, a really solid year last year that could build into being like one of the SEC's better defenders.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see kind of where he plays and where he lives. And I know he's going to play, obviously, defensive end, but how much are you going to use him as a rusher? How much are you going to use him to set the edge? And we've talked about it a little bit, but, you know, Ali Gay last year, he was somebody who's going to play in a 5, and he was going to kind of set the edge. B.J. Ojolari was going to be the guy that got after the quarterback. I'm not sure which one of these roles they see him in. He does feel like he could be a little versatile, maybe, you know, play both and be counted on in both. But he's a name that we do forget, and I'm left hand up, that I forget about when we're talking about edge defenders.
But, like, whenever we came in here from watching film, we would always be like, oh, you know, like Savion Jones had some really nice moments. Wilson has Brian Thomas Jr. as one of the potential breakout players. Of course, Thomas, 2 very similar years thus far. In fact, I was kind of shocked to learn how similar. 28 catches, 359, 2 touchdowns as a freshman, 31 catches, 361, 5 touchdowns as a sophomore. So very similar seasons. I mean, I think the wide receiver room as a whole is poised for a breakout year because I think that's kind of been the entire focus of the offseason is more explosive plays, pushing the ball downfield. But, Jake, if I was to choose one wide receiver, or who would you choose if you could choose one? Would it be Brian Thomas?
I mean, obviously, we know who this is. We've seen him do it. He's had big moments. But if you're talking about breakout, it's, you know, more than just a couple of highlight reels, which he's been fantastic in that. And I think he is somebody that in the red zone can be your number 1 target.
Yeah,
because,
and the 5 touchdowns last year would
incredible, you know, at high pointing the football. But, like, we're looking at 28 for 359, 31 for 361. I think he has the potential to be in the 600-yard range. And obviously, like, if you get him in that range, and that's going to be very beneficial for you, he'd be more than just a red zone touchdown guy. But, I mean, yeah, he could be the number 1 receiver in most places. And he's probably going to be your 3.
How do you feel about Kyron Lacey? I feel like Kyron Lacey's got some momentum with him right now. Is he? I mean, do you see him as wide receiver 3 going into this?
He might be 2.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. I wonder if Kyron Lacey might not be my choice to break out. I mean, somebody's got to replace the Kayshon Boutte catches from last year, 48 for 538. And then some, because again, I think the whole room's going to get more. So there's a couple of names, I think, from that room that you could engage in. Wilson has Sage Ryan on this list. It's tough to choose one player from the defensive backfield because you could almost choose anybody, right? Like, is Denver Harris going to be able to take advantage of the talent that he has? Will it be somebody like Terrence Welch, who really shined in the spring game? Deuce Chestnut, the all-conference transfer from Syracuse. So there's a lot of opportunity for kind of a relative unknown in the secondary to make a statement. Obviously, I think fans hope Sage Ryan because he was a 5-star. It's such a big deal, and he did play last year, but he struggled at times for sure.
Welch might be where I would have made my selection, not only because of what he did in the spring game, but just what you hear around the program. I mean, he came in to LSU obviously with a lot of fanfare. Now, not as much as Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan was a top 65 player in the country, and he's had moments, good and bad.
Yeah.
Like he's had some definite polarizing moments out there, and you're looking for him to just, I think, be steady and to be somebody that is consistent and somebody that you can count on. Because there's been times that you can count on him, but there's also been times where it's been a little bit of a liability.
Yeah.
So you're waiting on him because the talent is there, but you're waiting on him to put that full season together, or at least like a full 4-game stretch, and then another 4-game stretch where he's out there, he's your nickel corner, and he's going out there and playing the way that you know he's capable of playing. But I think Welch would probably be my answer if I'm choosing a defensive back because you've got a lot of transfers. I mean, J.K. Johnson, Denver Harris, a couple of guys, Deuce Chestnut that you mentioned. I mean, you got Alexander coming over from Southeastern as well. Like, those guys have not been here. Not to say they won't be really good football players, but Welch is somebody that signed with you. You're trying developing. We talked about developing players yesterday. So he's somebody that I could see at the end of the year being a starter.
Yeah, and in terms of what year is Welch?
Sophomore.
Now? Okay. True sophomore, do you know, or redshirt sophomore?
I believe
the only reason I ask is because Sage Ryan, this will be his redshirt sophomore year, and if you're talking about guys making a jump, that year 3 is generally a really good time to see that jump made. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.